I just started a new floor renovation project last Saturday. This is a small room on the second floor. The floor is made more than 20 years ago and needs some refresh. Actually, it's not so very bad, but I still want it to look more fresh. This small piece in the middle is not varnished at all. So I rented a fancy sanding machine. It is called Trio. Here you can see why it is called Trio. It is not the first time when I am working with it. I used it sanding the big room in the first floor. But I already forgot how struggles it with old, thick layer of hard varnish. After all those passes, varnish was not removed at all. Here you can see a few spots where it managed to go through the varnish. And here is the first person view. Actually, here the varnish is already removed by handheld small bell sander. I continue my floor renovation story. Here I am vacuuming the floor, removing all the dust left after the sanding works and trying to keep the floor as clean as possible before varnishing. It's nitrocellulose based varnish. It's a matte primer varnish. Here is my brush, 4 inches wide. That light switch on sounded like explosion. After 2 days of sanding, now I start the fun part of the work. Applying lacquer or varnish. The varnish is very thin, easy to apply, and it's just a primer, so you don't need to be very meticulous. Just run through really quickly. Overall, it takes just a few minutes. Very fast compared to the time I spend on sanding. That's how the floor looks like after applying the primer. On camera it looks more colorful, but overall it's okay, it's nice. I use orbital sander and a soft sandpaper to run over the floor after applying the first layer of primer. When drying, varnish lifts all the loose wood grain and makes small needles and spikes in the floor. And I just run over really fast with this orbital sander to remove those needles and spikes and making the surface of the floor softer. This is the main varnish I am going to use. It is 2-component water-soluble polyurethane varnish. They say you need to filter it before using. Actually, I made it wrong here. I had to mix 2 components together before filtering and filter only after that. After mixing them together, they create some small pieces like jelly, and those jelly pieces makes bumps and imperfections after the varnish dries out. Here is the hardener, the second component. I am using half a bottle of the base lacquer, so I need to use half a bottle of the hardener. I tear off the sticker to see how much left in that bottle. So it's about half now. Here it is. I need to stir it well and wait for a few minutes before applying. And here it begins, the real applying of varnish. This varnish is very thin also, and you can't move the brush very fast, very quickly, as it forms bubbles or foam. And I of course want to see my floor to be smooth and perfect. It is quite difficult to dose this varnish correctly. As you can see, the quantity of it is not so very big, and I need to spread it over the floor evenly. But after all, I just keep brushing and applying it, and what I get is what I get. I couldn't use the whole amount of the lacquer at this time, and some of it left, but I applied it later. So here we are next morning, and you can see that this is not varnished, and this is after 1.5 layer of varnish. So camera gives more contrast here and here also. And today I'm going to put another coat here, the final coat, and I hope it will be finished here with that. Just checking with a hand, and you can find small spikes here and there, so I need to go through the surface with a orbital sander really quick and to eliminate all those spikes. And it's nice to just check with your hands for rougher surfaces, for rougher spots, and sand them additionally, like here. Vacuuming again to get rid of all those dust from sanding. I already added a hardener to this 2-component parquet lacquer. Did stir it well, and now I just need to filter it. Here you can see those jelly-like formings I mentioned earlier. I kept the brush soaked in the water through the night, so it is soft and usable. Hopefully this is the last coating in this room, so it will be finished. I am trying to apply the last coating more carefully this time, as this is the last coating, the last layer, and it should be good and perfect. On the second layer, it is difficult to see the difference between the places where the lacquer was applied and where it was not. So usually I apply it to the row of 4 or 5 boards at one time and use this small bucket with lacquer to mark the place where I finish or where I start that area. I'm crawling and crawling on my knees for a few days already. Would be interesting to know how far would I go if it was a straight line. Hey, stop whining and move on. So I'm moving on and on. The light can be seen at the end of the tunnel. 1/3 is done. 1/2 is done. 2/3 is done. Finished! So finished finally, and here is how much left of the varnish unused. I tried to make this area a little bit thicker layer, but still left a little bit. Finally I finished with sanding the corridor. As you can see, dust is in the air. Everywhere I look around, yeah, lots of dust everywhere. Now I'm applying primer varnish, which is matte and almost invisible when dried, but it prevents discoloration of the wood in the light, or not discoloration but yellowing. Here it is finished. Look like glossy now, but after it dries it will be completely matte and invisible. So here it is. And that is how it looks like the next day when it is dry. It is dried out completely. So now I'm going to run through with a sander and apply the real varnish, and it will be finished. Another bottle of lacquer. I need half of it for the first layer, so I'm pouring it to the empty bottle. Half of it. Checking if I divided it correctly. Looks like okay. Here is the very full bottle of hardener, very full. I need about this much. Little bit more. Let's say it's half now. Shaking it like that was not a good idea as it foams like milkshake. It even looks like a milkshake. This is what I need for the one layer of lacquer. And now I am applying the first layer of real lacquer. Nothing different from what I have done before, so just brushing and brushing. It's kinda difficult to see if all the area is varnished, but if I miss some, still the second layer to go. So the first layer finished, so I did not manage to use all of the varnish I prepared. Some small amount still left here. Anyway, I'm happy about the result. Washing my paintbrush with warm water and soap, and leaving it soaked in the water till the next time. About 4 hours later, I can walk on the floor. The varnish is dry, so I just need to go through with the sander really quickly and put another layer on it. I don't make milkshake this time, mixing here gently. Though it turns white even mixing this way. After mixing, pour it back to the bottle and now filtering. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. It won't go through the filter. Taking one more filter, new one. And it went through nicely. Pouring it back and forth, I lost some of it, and hopefully it will be enough for the last layer. I don't like those small bubbles. Hopefully they will break down and the surface will be better. So this is the final view of 2 coats applied. Not differs much from what I showed earlier, but it is finished. Ta-da!